Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome back to the International Business class. So, in yesterday's class, I was explaining you about the steps to be followed in the export procedure. So, today we are going to see a new topic, that is export finance. Now, what do you mean by export finance? Finance means, all of you know, it is nothing but the money which is required. Now, why do we need the money for exporting the goods and services? Why we need the export finance? So, today's topic is export finance. First, I will explaining you the meaning of export finance. Now, the exporter may require some short term, medium term or long term finance depending upon the types of goods to be exported and the terms of statement offered to overseas buyer. So, this is called as export finance. See, once you have produced the goods, it is not sufficient. To export it also you need the funds. You need to pay to the shipping, you need to pay to the agent, you will have some banking charges, and packing has to be done properly. So, packing requires some more cost. So, there are so many expenses, and this might be short term, medium term or long term. So, depending on the types of goods which are exports, that is, suppose if it is cars and all, costly cars, the funds required for exporting it for packing, insurance and all will be more, right? So, that is called as export finance. Now, this export finance, how to obtain the short term, medium term and long term funds for export financing? There are some sources. So, there are 4 sources, that is through commercial banks, Export Import Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India, Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation, which is called as ECGC. Now, coming to the first one, see, sources is nothing but through what means and ways you are going to get the funds for exporting your goods and services. Now, coming to the first one, commercial banks. See, the commercial banks which are members of Foreign Exchange Dealers Association, they provide funds at a concessional rate of interest. So, commercial banks will already have a tie-up with Dealers Association, and they also provide the interest rate at a lesser rate. That is why it is called as concessional rate of interest, and are refinanced by Reserve Bank or Export Bank of India. So, suppose if the funds are required by commercial banks in a earlier manner, they can get it refinanced by the Reserve Bank or Export Import Bank of India. In case they do not wish to avail refinance, they are entitled to get a interest rate subsidy. Coming to the second one, Export Import Bank of India. See, in certain cases, participates with commercial bank in extending medium term loans to exporters. So, Export Import Bank of India are also having connection with commercial banks, where if the commercial banks are not able to give the money for export finance for a longer duration, the Export Import Bank of India will participate along with the commercial banks, and they will extend some more medium term loans to the exporters. Why this commercial banks and Export Import Bank of India are providing funds for export finance is nothing but they want more exports to be done from India, because the government gets lot of income through exporting in the way of excise duty, tax collection, and through selling the goods and services, the profit which is collected. So, through all these ways, the income is more for the government. That is why these banks provide export finance to the exporters. Now, other related institutions are Reserve Bank of India. See, the Reserve Bank of India, being the central bank of our country, lays down the policy framework and provides guidelines. So, it is the central bank of India, as you all know, and they will lay down certain rules and regulation, and they will also provide certain guidelines. Now, the RBI functions as refinancing institution for short and medium term loans respectively provided by commercial banks. So, this RBI will support the commercial banks for extending the short and medium term loans for giving them refinance. And the last one is Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation. See, this ECGC, they also play an important role through various policies and guarantees providing cover for commercial and political risks involved in export trade. See, providing finance to the export trade is not an easy thing. They might get back the money or they might not get back. That is why this ECGC, they will give a guarantee by providing the certain guidelines, and they will also provide a cover to the commercial banks to cover the political risks involved in it. Just like our insurance policy, for our life, for our health, we cover with a life insurance or health insurance policies, right? In the same way, the commercial banks which provide the finance for this export trade procedures, this ECGC will cover them for the political risk. Political risk means, you all know, whenever the political changes happen in our country, the rules and regulations change. Whenever there is a war between two countries, suddenly the exports might be stopped. Due to this COVID only, you would have observed. Suddenly the exports, imports and all stopped. So, in these kind of situations, they are not able to do anything. So, in such cases, this ECGC will provide a cover to these commercial banks by taking care of the risk which they are suffering. I hope all of you have understood the sources of export financing which is provided by the commercial banks, Export-Import Bank of India, RBI and Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation. I hope all of you have understood the meaning of export finance and the sources of export financing which is available to the exporters. Okay, tomorrow we will meet up with some other new topic. Okay, meet you all in tomorrow's class. Thank you everyone.